I think it's so common for folks to get that degree and then come out afterwards and say, oh my goodness, what now? Or, we know so many people who studied to be one very specific role, and they get in there and 2 years in, they say, oh my goodness, this thing I've studied for so long just isn't right. And one question that I know we kick around so much and we hear so often in culture is this idea of a dream job. And so I'm curious, with your experience working with people and helping them get into jobs that they love, do you think that a dream job is real? Like, are we expecting too much, or can we really find something that we enjoy and doesn't feel as much like work?
Oh, a dream job is absolutely accessible, and it's in the reach of everybody that's listening today. But let's talk for a second about what a dream job is. A dream job is not necessarily a job where you go to work every day and then you make $500,000 a year. Because if you're doing that, let's say you're making $500,000 a year, good for you. But if you're miserable every day, if you hate it, if you're being asked to do activities that bore you to tears, that's not going to be a dream job. But one of the things we're going to talk about today is identifying what kind of job would be a dream job for you or for a listener. Can you identify that? And then once you have that idea in mind, figure out the fastest, least expensive way to get to that goal. And that's a big thing we're going to cover today.
Yeah, wow. I have to say, the way that you speak makes me feel really excited. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm watching a really good movie right now. So how do we start? How do we start then there? Like how do we know ourselves better and to determine what is the right path?
Yes, that's a great question, Jocelyn. The key is, I want people to have data about themselves. And I want these big decisions to be based on data, not based on guessing. If a person, I've had a person say, just recently say to me, my daughter's in 9th grade and she wants to be a radiologist. And they're like, we're 100% behind our daughter, our 9th grader who wants to be a medical doctor specializing in reading x-rays. And I'm thinking, why did she pick that? Where did she even hear about it? Is that based on data or is that based on guessing? So for your listeners, I want them to take some career assessments. Now, these are not the ones that were offered at the high school. Those are scored by robots and they're notoriously inaccurate. And that's where some of your listeners had those and it came out and said, you should be a bartender or you should be a lumberjack. And your listeners just rolled their eyes. Oh, I'm talking about high quality career assessments that are based on decades of research. Career assessments are really the gold standard.
I'm curious to know if whatever direction someone pursues, should it be easy because it's something that they're excited about and it's something that might come naturally to them?
Wow. Yes, you're hitting it right on the head. Remember when we talked about, is there a dream job? Well, if you have taken the 3 career assessments I'm going to really emphasize today, you'll have words to describe, here's what I'm just so interested in. I'm so interested in this that I can do an assessment and it comes out on the top of a graph that I can see printed out on a piece of paper. I can choose a career path that fits beautifully with my personality type, whether I'm introverted or extroverted, whether I live in the general world of ideas or whether I like to see, smell, hear, taste, and touch things, whether I tend to be a thinker or a feeler, whether I make decisions fast or slow. That's what the Myers-Briggs does for us. And then when I talk about the other 2 career assessments today, plus the 4th one I'm going to throw in just for fun, you start to see these, the personality type, the interests, the strengths based on Gallup research. You start to see these things coming together and you have got great words for describing who you are and how you're built and how you're wired and what you're good at and what you love and what you're interested in. And so it becomes easier and easier to choose a career path. And wow, then when you get in job interviews, or you're filling out a graduate school application, or you're trying to go to medical school, you've got all these words and vocabulary for describing what energizes you and what drives you and what you're trying to get toward. And people get on board with that. When you have words and you have vocabulary to describe who you are to yourself and to others, it's just such a powerful tool. And it is something that I've seen over and over drives people towards a life and a career that they love, that they're excited about. Even after 40 years, they're still excited to get up and go to work every day because it's just made for who they are. And from a Christian perspective, what we're looking at is gaining information about how we're created. How were we threaded together in the womb? What kinds of talents and abilities and gifts and strengths has God given us? And how might we put those into action to love and bless and care for the world well? How might we partner with Christ with the very best that we have, with our talents, abilities, gifts, and strengths, so that He could take our little 5 loaves and our 2 fishes, and He could use that to feed a multitude. When you combine that, knowing who you are and having the data, and then putting that in the hands of a loving Christ who really wants to partner with us to do great good on the earth, you're absolutely right, Jocelyn. That's exhilarating. That is energizing. That will get you out of bed in the morning and help you feel excited when you have to put in long hours. Sometimes you'll put in a 12-hour day, and at the end you feel like, I am so energized right now. I could climb a mountain. I'm not even tired.